Welcome to Introduction to Computing. Topic 5, choosing a personal account. We're going to look at 3 topics here. Advantages of a web-based email account, choosing IMAP over POP, and also the advantages of having multiple personal email accounts. So let's get started. The first things I want to look at are the advantages of a web-based email account. Now, these can be a variety of different web services online. It can be Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail. Those are your 3 modern, most popular web-based email accounts. Essentially, you would go online to a service and you would get your email or set up your email that way. You can use, as we mentioned before, a variety of different clients after that point, but that's where you would set up your email. Distinguishing that from, say, Comcast, to where Comcast has your email. So your email is tied to an internet service provider. Advantages here lie in I can take a Gmail account with me and have that for the rest of my life as long as Gmail is in service, which looks like it's going to be many years from now. And I can move, go anywhere on the planet, and still have access, still use that email account. If I chose to have my email account tied to, say, GoDaddy, or tied to even a domain, or tied to my internet service provider like Comcast or Cox Cable, then if I were to move and say Comcast no longer offers internet service in my area, I have to use somebody else, I lose that email account because it's dependent on me being a subscriber to Comcast or Cox Cable. So you can't take it with you, and then you're going to lose that email. You're going to have to export all that email. You're going to have to go through a number of different options to save whatever it is that you have, and that's really a disservice to you. And on top of that, it doesn't nearly provide the variety of free services that you can get through something like Google. The reason Google is on top is because Google is the best email client in terms of providing free services to you. You cannot imagine how many free services that are out. Some are obviously better than others, but free services that are out there that are accessible to you as a user if you've got yourself set up a Google account. Some of the more popular ones, you've got Google Read or Google Books, allows you to free access to books. Picasa, email, photo sharing clients. You've got Blogger, which was a very popular blogging platform, and still is in some respects. Google Talk, free text messaging. You have Google Voice, which you essentially can send text messages, make phone calls from the continental U.S. to virtually anywhere on the planet at no cost to you. It is a variety of an enormous variety of free services that come to you. And one of the more stable of those services are Gmail, which is your web-based email account through Google, as well as Google Calendar, that allows you to build and manage your own calendar system. Also, they have a pretty robust contact management system that allows you to manage your contacts and store your contact information, address, email, Twitter handle, things like that into one piece. And that's magnificent, because I tell you what, that allows you to do so many different items that you cannot imagine at this point for no cost. You only need access to the internet, to your email account. So once you set up a Gmail account, you've got yourself a Google username and password that you can get access to these services. On top of this, you want to realize that it's a good idea to have multiple personal email accounts, because here's what happens. As you sign up for these variety of different services online, they're going to ask for your email account. And you want to have a situation where you get an account that gives you that type of information, sign up information. It tends to lead to a lot of spam, devoted into one inbox or one account. And then the next account would have really isolated. You only give that account to the VIPs, most important people in your life, as a personal account. So you're getting personal correspondence, and you know if something's in that account, it's a priority for you. It's important for you. And as you sign up for different services or you buy items at, say, a Radio Shack, and they ask for your email, your phone number, everything, you can give them that junk email account. And it makes your life so much easier, because that personal account, you know what's in there is important to you. The junk email account, you could check that every month if you wanted to, and clean parts of it out. But you know nothing really is important as you come to that account, because you've separated the two in your life. So imagine having that in your personal post office, your mailbox. If you're living in a residential area, you go in there, hey, in my mailbox, I know I have one mailbox of personal correspondence, the rest has junk. That would be super if that would happen in your life, to where all the junk is sorted for you automatically. The only thing you get in your mailbox at your front door is the most relevant items to yourself. And that's really the concept, the philosophy behind having a junk and a personal email account. Use a junk email account to sign up for all these free services, to give to Walmart or Radio Shack, or wherever you go buy items that are asking for your email address if you want to give it to them. And then your personal account, only give that one to your personal correspondence, your family, your friends, people that you want to stay in touch with and you want to correspond with. That way your life is much cleaner, everybody's happier. So that's a good way to go about it. And you can very well, as we looked at before, you can very well sign up for 2 Gmail accounts. You could sign up for a Gmail and a Hotmail, a Gmail and a Yahoo. But I would keep it still a web-based email account, so you can still carry that with you. But Gmail is great to have as a junk email too, because it has a great spam filter, so it manages your spam very nicely. So that's something to consider as well. So that's something that you want to take full advantage of, which takes a little bit of time to set up. You would have to set up 2 instead of 1, but it pays off tremendously. And as I mentioned in future topics, your email client on your computer can very easily check 2 email accounts. You can very easily check that on your own personal cell phone, your smartphone as well. So that's not an issue for you to worry about at all. So next topic too that we wanted to briefly describe here is essentially the difference between POP and IMAP, and why you even care about that. This is a graphic here that really represents that well. But in a nutshell, what this means to you is, if you have, say, a computer at home, and you have a smartphone, and then you have, say, a computer at your office, that you're accessing your email. You're accessing that same account on all 3 of those devices. You want to be able to delete the emails that you don't care about, the junk email or whatever it is, or an email that you've already replied to it. You want that deletion to take place on all your devices automatically. You don't want to have to delete it on your cell phone and then come back to your computer and realize the email I deleted 3 hours ago is still there. And that's the primary reason for IMAP over POP. Gmail provides you with that free of charge for your email account. Other services can't quite say the same for that, but Gmail does provide that for you. So it's an advantage, again, for Gmail, because it has that IMAP, it has that capability. Yahoo has that capability somewhat, but it barely works at this time. When we're speaking October 2012, lots of issues with those servers. So IMAP essentially is going to allow that to happen, that instantaneous communication. And I'm talking about I can make modifications to my contact database. I can also make modifications to my calendar. So when I add that calendar appointment, boom, those changes are reflected on all three devices. Make that calendar appointment. Imagine you have a shared calendar. So I've got a shared calendar system set up, and my wife is holding, and she sees that same calendar. I had an appointment for today at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock or for next week. Everybody is automatically on the same page, and we don't have to come back and sync it, plug it up, any of that nonsense. It happens instantaneously. And that is a fantastic difference over the other email clients, as well as something that you really need to watch for and you really need to set up when you go to get into your preferences and get into your email. So we're going to take just a quick look inside of our Gmail preferences. I'm going to go ahead and launch Safari here, and I went ahead and automatically signed into my Gmail account, and I've made my way into my settings, which are over here on the right hand side. As we looked at before, this is the little gear icon, little settings icon that comes up in a Google search or in your email client. And then it's over on the right hand side. You want to make sure that you're scrolled all the way onto the right hand side in your browser, so you don't want to see any options here to scroll any further. And then we want to come down here and we've selected settings to get into this setting. Gmail provides a variety of different settings, as we can see here on the top, but we want to focus our attention to the forwarding and POP slash IMAP. We can, inside of Gmail, enable either one of these. We can have POP if that's a way we prefer to handle it, or we can enable IMAP. So you see these two options are ready here. We've got POP options, and we have IMAP options. As I mentioned, IMAP is obviously our preference, so that's something that we want to draw our attention to now. So under the IMAP access, as you see, you've got a IMAP enabled, so you would simply just select Enable IMAP. And this is something that you do want to do inside of your settings, logging into your Google account. This is not something that you will be able to do through your client, which means that you can't go into Outlook and change these settings. You couldn't go into Apple Mail and change these settings. You got to go into your gmail.com. You got to log into your account on a browser, and you have to get down and dirty with these settings and get into them to modify it. So next up, we've got our when I mark my message in IMAP as deleted. What that means is when I delete something, do I want that to immediately update? And that's the default. That's what you want. You want these messages to be deleted automatically and update as soon as possible. Therefore, everybody's on the same page. If I would delete an email, I want it to be gone. I don't want to see it again. It's out of my life, because you might have several. Some people have several hundred emails a week, so they certainly want that expunged. And when it is deleted and expunged, you have the ability to do certain items with that email. You can archive that message by default, but you also have the option to move it to trash. If I turn this to auto expunges off, it's not going to automatically just kill it. It's going to instead, you can say, well, you know what, I want to move that to the trash, or I want to immediately delete that forever, or I want to archive it. So archiving will keep it in case you needed to search for that afterward, or you can just, hey, I can immediately delete that forever. Notice when you have auto expunge off, it will archive. You don't have any other options besides that. But you know what? Not so bad, because it's happening immediately for you. So if you wanted to keep those, just keep it to the trash and kind of have a little bit more control over it, then you can change auto expunge to off and then move the message to trash if you wish to. This is a good default. It's not something to really worry about. The main focus is making sure that enable IMAP is on. And then you come down to folder size limits. Now, this is something that may be a problem depending on how your client is set up, but I've chosen to not limit the number of messages in an IMAP folder. So inside of my folders, when I go into my client, you can see your folders on the left-hand side here. You're not going to limit a number of messages in that folder. So I could have hundreds of messages in one folder, or I want to limit that. Also here, you've got configuration instructions. Google is very nice about giving you instructions on how to set up that email account. So if I'm using Outlook to check my mail, I've got Apple 4 installed, I have Windows Mail, Thunderbird, or I'm on an iPhone, or I'm on a BlackBerry, or an Android, and I want to figure out how to set up that email through IMAP, so I have that capability. Gmail provides that information for you. That's fantastic. So then you can automatically set up your device with no issues. And it directs you to forums, so if you have any problems, that will be fixed as well. And then one last thing up here at the top is you can add a forwarding address. So for instance, if you have an account that you want all that email from that account to go to another email account, you can set up a forward for you. So for instance, if I have a Hotmail account, ask Mr. Kelly at hotmail.com, say I wanted to, was jumping ship, wanted to get rid of Gmail altogether, I could forward my askmrkelly@gmail.com email to my Hotmail account, or to my Yahoo account, or to whatever account that I had set up. So, that's a good idea if you want to send, kind of want to create some filters for yourself, you want to send that up. So that's a good way to manage yourself. But all of that is located here inside of your settings in Gmail. Very easy to get to. You just log into your Gmail account, you come down to your settings, and then you come down and would select forwarding and POP IMAP, and that's how you would set everything up. So the advantages here are using a web-based email account, choosing Gmail because that's going to become equipped with IMAP, and then also being able to use that to manage yourself and setting up two Gmail accounts. So you would have a personal and a junk email account. Those are the main objectives I want to get through to you in this lesson.